Hi, this is Brad. Just like to bring a few articles to your attention that have been in the news lately. Really, have been in the news since the beginning of this year and just the last few months about digital currency. Let me read a few articles here that I picked out. I'd like to share with you today. The Canadian government has quietly announced plans to pursue a digital ID program at the national level. And that was out on August 15th of this year. Then last month, in November, 9 U.S. financial institutions, including Citibank, Wells Fargo, and MasterCard, launched a pilot program working with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York to test the feasibility of a digital dollar. Then, on this article, we read this. China is planning to digitize the medical records of 1.4 million people, 1.4 billion people, harnessing the power of a big data to track the health status of everyone in the country and sparking fears that the planned, quote, universal health quote, or health code, unquote, will become yet another tool for controlling the country's citizens. This directive was issued on November 9th of this year, 2022, and calls for it to be completed by 2025. I noted this. Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum had said this in a recent interview. He thought that the Chinese model is certainly a very attractive model for quite a number of countries. He thinks that model is great. And finally, this last article. 4 nations are in the midst of distributing various digital IDs: Vietnam, Brazil, St. Lucia, and Greece. In Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, the Public Security Department has begun a month of intense government action to get digital IDs in the hands of every resident who does not already have one. Police will work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. over the next 4 weeks to wrap up the drive. After December 31, that's this year, conventional identification papers will be invalid according to Vietnam Plus, which is part of the government's Vietnam News Agency. Well, okay. Why am I bringing these articles to your attention? Well, as you know, Michelle and I, when we do videos, we're very interested in biblical prophecy. And that really plays into the end times. Let me read something from the book of Revelation. And this is found in Revelation chapter 13, and I'm going to pick it up in verse 11. Then I saw another beast coming out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. He exercised all the authority of the first beast on his behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. And he performed great and miraculous signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to earth in full view of men. Because of the signs he was given power to do on behalf of the first beast, he deceived the inhabitants of the earth. He ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. He was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that it could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name. This calls for wisdom. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is man's number. His number is 666. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but for many years, and studying prophecy and hearing about end times taught at church and stuff, and growing up and listening to all this, I would think, how's this going to happen, right? I mean, you probably asked the same question. How is this mark of the beast? How is this going to be implemented that people will take the mark, and how will it be worldwide, right? Well, just those articles that I read right there from Revelation excuse me, those articles I read from the news, and comparing that to what I'm reading in Revelation, you can see how we're going rapidly into this direction. This digitalizing the world, basically, whether it's through economics, whether it's through medical records, whether it's through a federal ID, which, by the way, Canada is pushing that, as I read that first article. America, U.S. will be pushing that too very soon, I believe. Well, anyway, I used to think that, and now I can see how it's happening. And it's going to happen quickly. And believe it or not, all this is just happening in all these articles just this last year. But think about it, in just the last couple of years, how fast everything has happened. Everything is going rapidly to this direction where the world will be governed by a world leader who will be able to control everybody through some kind of a mark on their hands or forehead. And I believe it's through this technology that we have being using digital technology. I think that is where we're going. I think that's how it's going to happen. And it's happening quickly. So anyway, guys, I just want to bring that to your attention. I find that very interesting that this is going on and it's happening fast. And so are you ready? I mean, if you're not ready, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Because if you have, then you're out of here. We're going with the rapture. When Jesus comes back, we're out of here with the rapture. And that's right around the corner. Yeah, man, we're so close. When you read all these articles and see what's happening in the world, gang, we are close. But if you haven't received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, man, now is the time. Do it now before the rapture, and then you're caught up in this tribulation period, and then you're going to have to make this decision about this mark, and you're not going to want to live in that time. You're just not going to want to do that, okay? So anyway, I just want to share that with you, and let me just finish with this verse. For God so loved the world, that he gave his only Son, that whosoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. So then, until then, guys, we'll see you here, there, or in the air.